Have you ever met a woman who seemed completely untouchable? She walks into the room and you can feel the shift. She's confident, composed, graceful, maybe even married. From the outside, it looks like she has it all figured out. The kind of woman people admire from afar. Controlled, elegant, emotionally distant. A woman with walls so perfectly built that most men never even try to get close. But here's the truth. No one tells you, most people don't see what's really going on beneath that flawless surface because sometimes the women who seem the most taken are the ones who feel the most unseen, the most unheard, the most untouched on the level that actually matters. And that's where you come in, not as a threat, not as a player, and not as someone trying to steal what isn't his, but as something she's secretly been craving: a mirror, a presence, a man who sees what others overlook. See, in a world where most men are caught up in tactics, pick-up lines, shallow compliments, bragging about success, very few know the one sentence that cuts deeper than anything else. One sentence that doesn't just catch her attention, it reaches something inside her, something that's been locked away for years behind polished smiles, social roles, and silent disappointment, a phrase that speaks directly to her emotional hunger, one that bypasses her logical defenses and speaks to the deepest part of her, the part she hides from the world. And when you say it, not to impress her, not to manipulate her, but with calm, grounded truth, something inside her shifts, something awakens. She doesn't even fully understand why, but suddenly you're not like the others. You're in her thoughts, you're under her skin, you're in that sacred space she doesn't let anyone enter. And just like that, you've created a feeling she can't ignore. One she'll chase even if she's married, even if she's emotionally unavailable, even if she doesn't know how to explain what's happening. But listen carefully, this isn't about breaking rules. It's about breaking through emotional walls that most men don't even notice. And if you've ever wondered how to leave a lasting impression on a woman who seems out of reach, untouchable, emotionally armored, keep watching, because what you're about to learn isn't just a clever line. It's not a tactic. It's not a move. It's a mirror. And when you hold it up the right way, she won't just look at you differently. She'll feel you. She'll crave that feeling again and again, whether she wants to admit it or not. Welcome back to Dark Psychology, where we explore the quiet power of presence, the kind of presence that doesn't chase, that doesn't convince, that doesn't perform, because it doesn't have to. Today's topic might be the most powerful we've explored yet, because I'm going to share something that most men will never realize, that the woman who seems completely out of reach, who looks like she's got everything together, who wears a wedding ring, who has a life full of responsibilities, is sometimes the one who feels the most emotionally abandoned. Not by her partner necessarily, but by life, by people who don't see her anymore, by the invisible pressure to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect professional, the perfect everything. She's not looking for someone to chase her. She's not looking for a thrill, a scandal, or a new beginning. She's craving something far more human, someone who sees her, not the polished image she shows the world, not the titles she's been given, not the roles she's forced to play, but her beneath all of it. The version of herself she's quietly mourning, the one she's forgotten how to express, the one who's aching for space to just be. And if you, yes, you can show up with emotional clarity, if you can walk into her world with honesty and grounded confidence, you'll unlock something inside her without even touching her. Because sometimes it just takes a few words. Not poetic, not overly romantic, just real. And when spoken with the right presence, they ignite something in her that hasn't been touched in years. This isn't about crossing lines. This isn't about betrayal. It's about resonance, about awakening something sacred within her that she didn't even realize was sleeping. It's about becoming the kind of man who reflects back to her, the woman she secretly longs to remember. So what are those words? What could possibly be more powerful than compliments, good looks, or charisma? Here it is. You don't have to pretend with me. You don't have to pretend with me. At first glance, it may sound simple, almost too simple, but don't confuse simplicity with weakness, because these words carry a quiet strength that most men will never understand. And more importantly, most women rarely hear. Think about it. How many times have you asked someone, "Are you okay?" And they smile and say, "I'm fine." But deep down, you know they're not. We live in a world that rewards the mask. A world where women are expected to smile, hold it together, be graceful, be everything for everyone. Even when they're breaking inside, she hides behind that polished smile. She plays her role, whether it's wife, girlfriend, mother, career woman, or all of the above. And she does it so well, most people never see the cracks. But you're not most people. Because when you say those 7 words, you don't have to pretend with me. You're not offering a compliment. You're offering permission to drop the mask, to breathe, to exhale the weight she's been carrying for years, to finally be seen. Not for how strong she is, but for how human she is. And here's the truth. Most women don't even realize how badly they need that. They've grown so used to pretending that authenticity feels foreign and a little frightening. But when you show up, not with flashy words or desperate attention, but with steady, grounded presence, something happens. She feels it. It's not about being clever. It's about being real. You're telling her, you don't have to perform for me. You don't have to wear that emotional armor with me. You can just be. And in a world that constantly demands women to have it all together, you're the rare man who doesn't need her to. And that is magnetic. Most men they chase. They compliment her looks. They try to impress her with stories, accomplishments, or charm. They lean in too far too fast, hoping that something will click. But you're not trying to impress. You're not asking her to be impressed. You're doing something infinitely more powerful. You're offering her emotional safety. You're showing up without the agenda to win her. And instead, you're creating a space where she doesn't have to be anything for you except herself. That alone separates you from the rest. Because when you say, you don't have to pretend with me, and you mean it, you're telling, I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to get something from you. I'm here to see you fully, honestly, without judgment. In that moment, you're not offering lust. You're offering presence. You're offering rest from the emotional labor she carries every day. And make no mistake, emotional rest is seductive in ways physical attraction can never be. When she feels that rest with you, when she realizes she doesn't have to uphold her image, when she can exhale for once without being expected to keep it all together, that's when she starts to remember what it feels like to be felt, to be seen, without being watched, to be understood without having to explain. And she will never forget that feeling. Not because you dazzled her, but because you disappeared. The pressure she didn't even realize she was under. That kind of connection, it goes far beyond words. It creates an anchor in her mind, one that she'll return to again and again, whenever she feels emotionally disconnected from the world around her. And when life feels too heavy, too fake, too demanding, she'll remember you. The one place she didn't have to pretend. So why does this phrase carry so much weight? Why does "you don't have to pretend with me" reach into a woman's soul, especially one who's married, guarded, or emotionally distant? The answer lies in something deeper than attraction. It's about human nature, because no matter how confident she seems, no matter how perfect her life looks on paper, every woman, especially those burdened by expectations, wants one thing more than anything else: emotional authenticity, and even more than that, emotional safety. Think about what most women face in today's world. They're expected to do it all, to juggle careers, relationships, motherhood, family expectations, all while looking flawless and staying emotionally stable. They're constantly being told who to be, and worse, who they're not allowed to be. So what do? They perform? They adapt. They hide behind, "I'm fine." They wear the role like armor: wife, mom, leader, caregiver. And underneath that armor, there's a quiet ache, a longing for someone to notice the weight, not just the grace, a craving for someone to see through the image without needing to be impressed by it. So when you show up, not with a hungry gaze or flirty lines, but with the calm energy that says, you don't have to be anything other than who you are right now, you create something rare. You create space, and that space feels like freedom to her, because it tells her you don't need to hide. You don't need to smile if you don't feel like smiling. You don't have to prove anything to me. And most importantly, you are enough right now, even if you're messy, tired, or unsure. For a woman who's emotionally guarded or emotionally taken, that message hits differently. It slips past her defenses, because you're not trying to get anything from her. You're not interrupting her life with chaos or pressure. You're interrupting her isolation with presence. That's why this phrase doesn't push her away. It pulls her in. It speaks to the part of her that hasn't been spoken to in years. Now let's talk about the how, because the truth is words alone are not enough. You could memorize this phrase, rehearse it in the mirror 100 times, but if your timing is off, if your tone is forced, if your energy is anxious, it won't land because it's not. Just what you say, it's how you say it. It's when you say it, it's the energy behind it. So let's break it down. Timing is everything. You don't just drop this phrase in the middle of a casual surface level chat. You don't say it when she's laughing with friends or when the conversation is light and playful. You wait, you observe, you listen for the moments when something shifts in her. Maybe she gets quiet. Maybe she sighs without realizing it. Maybe her eyes look away as if she's holding something back. Maybe she shares something vulnerable about her life, her stress, her emotions. But she says it quickly, brushing past it like it's no big deal. That's your window. That's the moment where her body is saying what her mouth won't. And when you feel that moment, you pause. You don't rush to fill the silence. You ground yourself. You look at her not intensely, not like you're searching for answers, but gently, like you're witnessing her. And then calmly, quietly, without pressure, you say it. You don't have to pretend with me. Two-tone is the anchor. This isn't a line. It's not a performance. It's not something you say with a smirk or dramatic flair. You say it like you're offering shelter in a storm, soft, steady, grounded. Let your voice be low and calm, like you're not trying to pull her in, but simply letting her know the door's open. Because that's the difference. Most men try to convince you. You simply offer. And that offering, that emotional stillness, is magnetic. Presence speaks louder than words. Your body language is everything. Keep it open, relaxed, unthreatening. No crossed arms, no fidgeting, no nervous energy. Look at her, not like you need something from her, but like you're there for her. Make her feel like this isn't about you. It's about her freedom to be real just for a moment. Let her feel that you're not afraid of her emotions, that you won't judge her if she opens up, that she's safe. Because when you embody safety, when your presence says you don't have to perform with me before your words even do, that's when the real magic happens. Now that you know how to say it, let's talk about where it belongs. Because timing isn't just about the moment, it's also about the environment. You need to understand the kinds of spaces where this phrase has the most impact, where it can sink in, take root, and create that shift. Here are a few real-life moments where this phrase can quietly change everything. One, in private, low-stimulation environments. This isn't a phrase you say at a noisy party or in a fast-paced social setting. It thrives in stillness. Maybe it's during a slow walk, sitting together on a quiet bench in the car late at night, or over coffee when the mood is softened. In these slower, quieter spaces, her guard lowers not just because of you, but because of the environment. That's when you lean in, not physically but emotionally and gently, say, "You don't have to pretend with me." It won't feel intrusive. It'll feel like a relief. Two, when she shares something personal but minimizes it. Let's say she talks about a recent fight with her husband, but she laughs it off, or she opens up about being exhausted from constantly managing her life, but ends with, "But it's fine, I'm used to it." That's her testing the waters. She's showing you a crack in the armor, but still trying to patch it with a smile. That's your moment. You don't fix it. You don't dig deeper. You simply hold up the mirror gently, calmly. You don't have to pretend with me. And then you let the silence breathe. Let the words land. Don't follow them with explanations. Let her feel the weight of being truly seen. Three, in reflective conversations, especially about identity. There are moments when she'll talk about feeling lost, like she's not who she used to be. Maybe she wonders if she's still attractive, if she's still exciting, if anyone really sees her anymore. This is more common than you think, especially in women who are accomplished, married, or constantly playing roles for others. That's when you say it, not to comfort her, but to hold space. You don't have to pretend with me, and watch what happens. Her walls might not crumble, but they shift. She might not cry, but she'll pause. She might not say much in return, but inside something will change, because she'll realize maybe for the first time in a long time she's safe to be real with someone. 4, in emotionally charged or vulnerable moments, there may come a time when she breaks. Maybe she's going through something painful, grief, disappointment, burnout, and no one seems to notice the weight. Maybe she finally lets her guard down just a little. You'll see it in her eyes, hear it in her voice, feel it in her energy. That's when this phrase becomes more than words. It becomes medicine. Not because it fixes her pain, but because it gives her permission to stop pretending she doesn't feel it, and that's the kind of moment she never forgets. Now, if you take only one thing from this video, let it be this: don't push. This is not a phrase you use to pry her open. It's not a shortcut to her heart, and it's definitely not a move to seduce or lure her away from her life. It's a quiet offering, a doorway, a pause in the noise. You're not trying to get inside her walls. You're creating a space where she can choose to step out, and that, my friend, takes restraint. Because the real power of this phrase isn't in making her talk. It's in making her feel safe enough to be silent. You're not trying to win her. You're trying to witness her, to be the one man in her world who doesn't demand anything: attention, affection, performance, just presence. That kind of energy, it doesn't chase, it draws in. So remember, when you say you don't have to pretend with me, don't follow it with a pitch. Don't ask questions. Don't lean forward with expectation. Just sit in the space you've created. Let your energy say what your words already did. You're safe. You're seen. You're enough. And let her decide on her own terms how far she's willing to go emotionally. Because when a woman feels like she has a choice, she chooses more honestly. She doesn't open up out of pressure. She opens up because she wants to feel that safety again. And when she does, it won't be about the phrase. It'll be about you. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who's ready to move beyond surface level connection. This channel isn't about games, it's about grounded presence, about becoming the kind of man who attracts, not with effort, but with energy. The kind of man who doesn't manipulate, but magnifies what's real. And that begins with you. Because when you show up with this kind of emotional clarity, when you stop trying to impress and start learning to hold space, you don't just change how women see you, you change how you see the world. And that's when real transformation begins. So try it. Use the phrase, watch what happens, and then come back and tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one. This isn't just about attraction, it's about connection. It's about becoming the rare man who doesn't just take up space in a woman's life, but creates space for her to come alive in her own. I'm Amelia. This is Dark Psychology. And until next time, stay grounded, stay real, stay paradoxical.